Hey everyone, so thanks for joining. Today I'll be covering May Roadmap Discussion Part 1. So as you know, in-game, the roadmap has just been released and there's some really interesting info there. But I want to deep dive a little bit more into it. There's lots to cover, so I've decided to kind of separate this into different parts as I did with the GQ4 event. So the first section of this part one of this is about mythical Juliante that's coming. So in May, there's as a very high level, we're getting a Valentine's event, a mystical Juliante, and adventure die as a key points as expected. And in this part one, I'll be talking about a mystical Juliante. And in terms of timing, you've seen in the roadmap that Astaroth will be coming as a banner on the 30th. So that's in a couple of days. And then will come the Valentine Day. It says early May, but I expect it to be around Thursday or a bit later, I guess, week after next. So in that, we'll have a new event of Valentine's and then new banner unit, Juliante, will be announced. And in terms of TAC Pro, this is also when the new TAC Pro Cup will be announced. So yeah, I guess this is all be like weekend after as the final one, the last one of the current RTA finishes. And in late May, we are expecting, all it said was a new Blossom unit, but it's going to be, we know it's going to be a die reruns and also, a Blossom of the die banner. So this is also interesting. The new units will, there will be no new units, but rerun of the old banners and then all of them getting a Blossom. So that's kind of interesting. There was a note about Dragon Quest Day campaign, which we don't have a detail. But also, the other thing it wasn't on there, but I'm expecting is an alchemy update, which will improve the quality of our alchemy. But all of these kind of are uncertain, so I'll put a question mark against it. Anyway, further ado, talk about a May sneak peek at a banner unit. So it's a mythical Juliante, and the mythical Juliante is in a short she's an evasion unit. So at core, so she has a 3-turn evasion, much like Domegas or Corvus. And but she with what's different with her is that she has an option to extend using her first ability for another 3 turns. So that what that mean is it will be 5 turns uninterrupted, 6 maximum turn with a gap of evasion, which is really huge deal, right? And then as an attacker, she's a martial and a physical combined attacker. She's a martial AoE damage dealer with a 40% of charm, which increases to 50% at max awakening. Her single target is a multi-hit, 3 hits, I believe, and it's a physical attack. And also in terms of passive, she's very simple, straightforward. At Awakening 3, she gets a kind of physical martial buff every time she attacks, so it's kind of accumulative damage increase. And then also at the start of the battle, she gains a move +2 and 2 stop attack buff, so it's supporting her attacking capability. So what's her attacking capability look like? So as I said, she's an evasion unit and then with a charm, so like with a CC option, that's her primary role. So she isn't really there for a damage. So let's look at the damage for the martial. So the martial damage, as you see, her name is called Temptation, and it's a 6 square attack. Its attack is actually lower than the second skill of Dominguez, not even just suggest his main skill. So her first turn damage on this martial is very, very low, I would have to say. However, obviously, it's a wider square, provides AoE. Also worth noting that it's actually a range of 1, and it's a bit like knocked with kind of attack. It's a very short distance, but it goes in the kind of the wider range. However, her because of her Awakening 3 ability, the accumulated martial damage buff, damage can increase, and it becomes somewhat interesting, around similar to Malroth's Blossom skill. But if you look at that, it doesn't really excite you as a damage, right? It's not there for damage. It's for AoE and purely for charm attack. It is what I would say about this martial skill. But in terms of damage, what's somewhat more interesting is her single target attack, which, by the way, is of range 1 to 3, so it's quite versatile. On top of the fact that she can move 4 steps, is somewhat comparative to Discontinuum of Sorrow, so you can't be too disappointed about it, right? So on the very first turn of the battle, her damage is kind of somewhat inferior to Sorrow, and after turn 3, which I think is kind of the relevance in the RTA, is all you'll be interested, is that her damage actually can outperform this continuum of Human Sorrow. So yeah, it's not too shabby, especially given longer range and a 3 multi-hit, which is going to become quite important moving forward in the meta. So pros and cons, we looked at a little bit of that. Let's summarize. She has a 5 to 6 turns, 100% evasions, which is really, really decent. Highlighted that. She has a highest AoE charm rate after Summer Jessica, but this one with an AoE. So, it's a straight upgrade and really, really good in terms of AoE charm potential. So, and the charm is rare. And also, her moves is for 3 turn is excellent. As an evasion, you can like go in. And also her agility is quite high. She doesn't have agility buff, so she's not the fastest in the game, but fast enough to be able to be played on a blitz. She's also great for PvE and Awakening 1. Decent that physical multi-hit with a range of 1 to 3, and then it's great for PvE even at Awakening 1. So it's a kind of unit that you'll be quite happy with if you look at the strength. Let's look at the weaknesses though. So in the game right now, there are so many sure hit units, and if you play RTA this week, you've been, as me, probably been disgusted by number of Max Awakening solos out there. He has a zap attack. Now, Juliante's weakness is whoosh and zam, so it's not weak to it, but still, it's a short hit attack. There's a lot of spell options coming in the meta as well. Breath units are all still in meta as well. So those hit units will be able to hit Juliante much like any evasion unit. Also, given the evasion unit, understandable, but she's quite fragile if it hits, so it can be taken out quite easily. She's also weak to confuse, so Modesta Gora still around, all a lot less now because of Saruman Slayer and in the meta right now, etc. But she's still around and weak to confuse. By which, just kind of sidetracking here, but confuse is going to be a kind of the really, really common weaknesses for the upcoming units like Vern, Dragonoid Baron, for example. Many of the meta units going to have a confuse weakness. So confuse is going to be quite a rare commodity and important asset. So if you planning your confuse on your RTA teams in the future. Now, other thing I mentioned is that her move drops to 2 after turn 4, and that's quite critical for an RTA if the fight is going to be long. Especially her charm attack is only range 1, although it reaches kind of 3 squares ahead. Yeah, so I think move 2 is ridiculously low for a unit of this type. And it needs to be also, I think it's a real bummer that it needs to be Awakening 5 for 100% charm on a weakness against a weakness unit. So really, if you want to use her, I guess just evasion alone, if you have a purpose for using evasion, then she's great. But in that regard, she's not any greater than, like, say, Domegas or FAC. What makes it differentiate is charm, and then the fact that charm needs to be max awakening for a confirmed. How you don't want to rely on the chances in RTA, right? So you want to charm a diamond slime, then you need to have max awakening for a confirmed probability, or close to confirmed probability with diamond slime. Okay, so that's the kind of the weakness and the, strengths and weaknesses, and I want to share with you my first impression, and how useful should you pull out, the important should you pull question. Let me know what you think as well. This is just what I think and what I've been gathering from JP Meta informations and so forth. So what I think of Juliante is that she's on a great tier on a scale of things. even both at Awakening 1 and Awakening 5. Awakening 1, her options to evade and charm's going to be charm somewhat less the charm is going to be useful in say for example like PvP offense, but also any PvE content where Dormegas or FA Corvus has been useful. She was also going to be slotted into there, and furthermore she can go longer than that, and a lot of PvE fights are longer. So yeah, she's absolutely great as Awakening 1. You won't be disappointed if you pull her. At Max Awakening 5, she's also I've kind of a little bit, struggled to place her here. It's a funny one. She's gonna probably start off being great or too nice to have on the release just because of the meta. And also, coming meta after this, the die banners, she's gonna struggle a little bit with a lot of short hits, etc. However, in April, you're going to be hearing this Draconium slime a lot. You're going to be, just because this is a preempting, you're going to be hearing a lot about, like you hear about Solo, you're going to be hearing about this pinky slime. It's, yeah, I'll save that for another video, but, she'll come, and that's where Juliante is, definitely a great tier, and actually even further could reach a top tier kind of importance. So, if you are a guy who's got a large wallet and in there you're way to find, I would recommend Max Awakening Juliante, and she'll be a good investment in the not the immediate meta but upcoming meta. So that's what I would say about Juliante. She's a kind of goes ups and downs in the tier, but very good both in PvE and PvP. So that's it for my video, and thank you once again for joining, and really appreciate it. And I've been really enjoying a lot of really positive comments about my videos, and I really appreciate if you could like and subscribe these videos, as it's something that's worthwhile for the community, and I'll keep going with it. And the way to know that is seeing the numbers of likes and subscribes. So I try to comment everything in the that's if you respond as well. So if you have any questions or comments, do let me know. I want to help the community. Thank you very much, and see you soon.